What's going on, everybody? It's your worst best friend, Ramboss Terrible, and Microsoft Sam can burn in hell. Now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and start the readings. Am I the asshole for calling my coworker chunky after she repeatedly calls me slim and makes references to my weight after I asked her multiple times not to? I have a female coworker who repeatedly calls me out regarding my weight. I'm female, 5'9", 115 pounds, and very thin. She is very overweight. All the time she makes comments about my weight. She doesn't call me by name, she calls me slim, and even I heard her once say one time, "Go ask Toothpick." And she has said stuff like, "You need some meat on your bones, and you need to eat." I only have worked here for 8 days. I have asked her very nicely to stop. Yesterday I asked her to stop calling me slim again, and she basically said it's her mouth and she can say what she wants. Today when she said, "Morning, Slim," I replied, "Morning, Chunky," and she got upset and actually started crying. Everybody here at work, only 6 of us total, is saying I'm wrong, and I should apologize because being called fat is different than being called skinny, because being called skinny is a compliment. I said as long as she calls me slim, I will call her chunky, and now I'm a bad person. Am I the asshole if I don't apologize? The owner-manager has completely ignored the situation, saying it's a high school issue and we should figure it out. We don't have HR. There's only 6 of us working here, a cupcake shop. We are all regular employees. I went to the owner before I called her chunky, and I asked him to talk to her because I felt she was harassing me. That's when he said we can handle it ourselves. That's why I called her chunky. I told her to stop calling me slim, and I didn't like it, and she continued to do it. She didn't stop doing it after I asked multiple times, and I didn't know what to do besides what she was doing to me. She brought up my weight, so I brought up hers. I know weight is like a sensitive subject for a lot of people, so I think it's usually safer to just avoid those kind of descriptive words for people. Like personally, I would never just call somebody chunky or slim as like a nickname or something like that, because you never know. Some people really are that sensitive with just weird nicknames like that. For example, growing up in a Hispanic family, calling a child like gordito is completely like normal. It's a sign of like affection, right? But you wouldn't go calling a stranger or somebody you barely know gordito, which, you know, kind of comes off as kind of disrespectful at that point. Especially a coworker that you've only known for less than 8 days, apparently. Honestly, I don't really feel like the OP is the one who's at fault here. The OP went out of her way to ask the girl to stop calling her slim. And then the chunky girl basically said, "I'll do what I want," and continued to call her slim, so she got what she deserved. The chunky girl can't have her cake and then eat it too. Figuratively speaking, because literally I'm sure she probably has as much cake as she wants. And honestly, the owner of the shop should have stepped in, because just telling your employees to figure out something like that themselves when it's clearly bothering one of them a lot is not a good way to run a business. If this was a bigger company with like an HR would have been all over this. Final verdict, OP, not the asshole. Manager, 50% asshole. Chunky girl, 100% asshole. Next video. Am I the asshole for getting angry at my parents after they refused to look after my children? I, 25 female, have 2 children, my son 4 and my daughter 2. Raising 2 children at a young age has been really difficult. However, I was able to graduate from college with a good degree and start a career that I'm happy with. Despite this, the struggle of trying to juggle the responsibility of looking after my kids and focusing on my career is stressful, to say the very least. My fiance, 26, also works full-time, which only compounds the issue. Up until now, my parents have been watching my children on Saturday nights, so me and my fiance can have time to ourselves. My parents are retired. I was recently offered a promotion at work. While I enjoy my new position, it involves me working more hours, which only makes my home life more difficult. I told my parents that I'd really appreciate it if they could watch my kids on Tuesday and Thursday nights as well, so as to alleviate my stress levels. However, they refused, saying that they were doing more than enough by looking after my kids on Saturday night. We had an argument after this, where my parents threatened to stop watching my kids on Saturday night. This annoyed me, and I responded by saying if they're going to put me in a compromising position, then they're not going to come to my wedding. We haven't spoken since, and I've had to look after my kids on Saturday night, which has been stressful for both me and my fiance. I feel as though that since they're retired, there's nothing wrong with asking them to pull their weight more and help me out with my kids. Am I missing something? Am I the asshole? Yes, you are the asshole. Your parents already raised you. They are under no obligation to help you raise your children. And the thing is, I don't even think the grandparents have an issue with helping you. It's just the fact that you completely expect them to help you. And then she has the gall to say, if you don't help me, you're not coming to my wedding. Like, who the fuck does this lady think she is? She's blaming her parents for putting her in a compromising position when it's not her parents who are putting her in that position. She put herself in that position. I completely understand wanting your parents to help you, but it's the fact that she just expects it, that's where the issue comes in. And at the bottom, she says she wants her parents to pull more of their own weight, as if her parents are responsible for her decisions. So her parents are being punished because of the decisions that she made. So they need to pull the weight for her own problems. I hope the fiance pulls his head out of his ass, because this woman is a living red flag. Final verdict, 100% asshole. Next question. Am I the asshole for not allowing a woman to go into my backyard because I'm living in her childhood home? I was home alone and my fiance was at work. We live in a nice home in a very safe part of town. It was 1 p.m. and I was doing the dishes when all of a sudden the doorbell rang. I went to check the peephole and it was a woman and a man I didn't recognize. I opened the door and asked them if they needed any help. The woman introduced herself as Lacey and the man was her fiance Todd. Lacey told me she lived in my house when she was a little girl. She wanted to look at my backyard since that is where she had her fondest memories. I told her no, and it visibly upset her. Her fiance said it would only take 3 minutes, but I told him I didn't know them and I was uncomfortable. Lacey then told me I knew kindness was very rare these days and left. Am I the asshole? No, this is actually a really common scam that home invaders will use to get unsuspecting people to let them into their house. The fact that your little spidey senses were going off is good because, like you said, you don't know them. They could have walked into your house, one of them could have pulled out a gun, and the next thing you know, you're tied up in your bedroom while they're stealing all your stuff, or even worse, which I don't really want to get into, but I'm sure you can imagine. I've had people knock on my door and offer me things like, a free water heater inspection, but I will never let anybody into my house without at least prior knowledge of them coming over. Nowhere in this story does it really say whether the OP is a man or a woman, but honestly, it really doesn't matter, because if you're ever feeling uncomfortable when someone comes to your house and asks to come inside, it doesn't matter what sex you are. Only thing that matters is you keep yourself safe. So in the end, I think she did the right thing, because that could have turned out really bad. Final verdict, 100% not the asshole. Next question. Am I the asshole for requesting my deposit back after an addiction counselor lied about not being religion-based? I, 28 female, have struggled with addiction for the better part of a decade. Got clean about 2 years ago, but I felt like I was going to relapse, so I found an addiction counselor. I'm not seeking God, nor am I religious. I explained this and was told that was understood. Yesterday, I went in for my session and she asked to lead me in prayer. I said again that I wasn't religious, and she said she does this with all of her clients. I shook it off and we started talking about how I got into my addiction. She then asked if I'd ever thought of accepting God when I was younger. I said no, because again, I'm not religious. She then told me that God is in all of us, waiting for me to accept him and let him help me. The basic religious recruitment speech. I thanked her for her time and I left. When I got home, I requested my deposit, $50 out of $100, back. I was told that I was being unreasonable and that I wasted her time. I asked my partner and they can't decide whether I'm the asshole here. Am I the asshole? First off, your addiction counselor should 100% have told you from the get-go that it was a religious-based counseling. I have nothing against religious people. What I do have a problem with is people who will lie in the name of God. Like they feel that it's okay that they're lying to you because they think they're doing it for God. There's no way that that counselor didn't know that she was going to push God on you during that counseling. So in the bottom, when she says that you were being unreasonable and that you wasted her time, no, she completely wasted your time. I know a lot of religious people, and my favorite religious people are the ones who I didn't even know were religious because they were so good at keeping that shit to themselves. This is kind of like the equivalent of you wanting to go see like a private practice doctor and you tell them, hey, look, my back's been really hurting me. It'd be great if you had some medicine for me that would, help take this pain away. And they're like, yeah, sure, come on through to my clinic and, we'll work something out for you. I got you. So then you spend all this time making an appointment, taking off work, and then you finally get to their clinic and all they have all over the walls are moon rocks and like healing crystals. And then they try to sell you on the stuff like the healing power of moon water, and you're like, I told you I'm not interested in this shit. And then they get upset at you for wasting their time. Because honestly, you deserve 100% of your money back, not just a $50 deposit, because they straight up lied to you. And for any religious people watching out there, lying in the name of Jesus is still fucking lying. So my final verdict is the addiction counselor is 100% the asshole, and the OP, not the asshole. If you guys agreed with my commentary, please go ahead and leave a comment down below. And if you disagreed with my commentary and you just think I'm an idiot, that's even more of a reason to leave a comment. It would be great if you could hit that notification bell along with tossing me a like. And if you guys are really feeling froggy, maybe you guys wouldn't even mind subscribing. Don't forget to take care of each other. Peace out.